Hey guys, Daniel here for Escaping Network. With everything going on in the news right now, we want you to know that we stand with those out there protesting for change. It's only going to happen if we all let our voices be heard and stand together. This is a very important time for all of us. So if you or someone you know needs help with resources or effective ways to cause this change and ways that we can donate and our listeners can help, please reach out to us at escaping.podcast@gmail.com or on our Facebook or Instagram pages. We stand with you and hope that together we can make this a better place. Thank you, and now on to the show.
By pressing play, you've been transported to a dimension where there will be no apologies given for the ridiculous and random comments made by your host and their guests. Thank you for listening and enjoy the experience. Hey guys,
What up, what up?
how y'all doing out there?
I hope it's splendid.
Word.
Because you know what it is.
You better know what it is.
It's Monday.
So that means it's episode number 15 of Yo, where the captions at? Yo, where they at? Where those captions at, baby? Where them captions at, baby? Where them captions at, baby, 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 baby? Can I get those captions back? Baby back ribs, baby back cribs. Coming in, now we in for the fucking win. I gotta do for my friends, my amigos, my cocos, my whole family Amelia. What it is though?
Really? Daniel, so how did you feel about that Coco? Because you know that was all a shout out for you, Mr. Crybaby.
Holy shit.
But before Daniel gets to that, I gotta let y'all know who y'all dealing with real quick. It's yours truly, Kels for Show, aka Euphoria. Joined here with my bro host, of course.
You know who it is, Roscoe, a.k.a. Mel Lexi.
Now you get to know about the man that's clickety clacketing the keyboard away. That's gonna be the dude that just watched Coco for the first time, Daniel Rojas.
Give us your gringo, Daniel.
My gringo?
Yes, your gringo.
Greedo.
No, Greedo or gringo?
Greedo.
Because I can do my gringo Greedo.
Oh, that's your voice normally.
Oh.
Wait, it's your Clark Kent is your podcast voice. I'm just agreeing with you.
Iha. Iha.
That's all you want to get.
Damn, all that low emphasis. This ain't the first act when he asked him for his Greedo. Now that's what we talking about.
So how did you feel about that movie though?
Well, after you guys just exploited me right now for my Greedo, I cried. And yes, I cried during Coco because it was a great movie. And it was about family. And I loved it.
Exactly. If you don't cry watching Coco,
You have no soul.
Yes, you've been forgotten. You
Coco,
don't exist.
no soul.
Exactly. And joining us today is a very, very special guest. She's one of my best friends. I've known her for years now.
Years.
Even though she doesn't look as old as she is, because she comes from very good genetics. No, it's a compliment.
It's a compliment.
She got that Moroccan in the
If you
brown
see
people.
them, if you
know
see
how
your
brown
mama,
keep it
you be
down?
like, "Oh, this is where this is where all this comes from."
Respect to the fam, Chris, Nadia, Steffi, all y'all. What's up? Hope you're listening. Hope you enjoy this episode. and the man, I gotta give a shout out to Dave for making her an honest woman, because she's been going through a lot of BS dudes in her life. I'm glad she finally found one. They're married. It's still wild for me to be like, yo, this is my friend and her husband, because I want to say boyfriend, but she's a wife. She ain't a desperate housewife, even though she looks like Terry Hatcher back in the day from Lois and Clark. Some people might say she's a wonderful woman because she got a little daughter in her too. I get that a lot. None other than Erin with an E.
Oh.
Hello. I'm happy to be here.
We're happy to have you here as always. How are you doing this day?
I'm good. I'm ready to talk about some messed up teenage lives.
Word, yes.
Oh, you mean our life? No, I'm just kidding.
No, my life was normal. I had the most suburban life. You know, I was complaining about that shit, but we all have our ups and downs. Definitely. But the show that she's referring to is HBO's Euphoria. That's where we're going to be geeking out later on in the show. If you're familiar with the setup of Yo, where the captions at, you know, we break this down in 3 different segments. And we always started off with Yo, what's poppin', where we go around and talk about the headlines from pop culture over the last week.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to start this shit off with this little piece of movie news. The Magic School Bus is actually getting a live action movie.
Are we getting it based off of Netflix version, or are we getting the original Only reason why I'm asking is because I just want to know which teacher we get.
Well, technically, both of them are Miss Frizzle, but of course, we're gonna get the OG Miss Frizzle, which were brought up on the cartoon and the book series, and that will be played by Elizabeth Banks. Me personally,
Elizabeth Banks playing Miss Frizzle.
Yes, Elizabeth Banks is playing Miss Frizzle. She played Rita Repulsa in the Power Rangers movie. She was also the director and head executive producer of the Pitch Perfect trilogies. So I have no issue with her in that role. I actually look forward to that because she's a good actress. But me personally, I would have preferred Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Miss Frizzle because I'm an Elaine fan, and that's just my own personal bias. But I can't wait to see that movie.
I can't wait neither.
I think she's going to do great.
Word. That's what's up. And speaking of female-led movies, there's going to be a new Pirates of the Caribbean spinoff.
Oh, word?
Starring Margot Robbie. Mm-hmm. Yes. And the reason they going this route because they initially was thinking about moving away from Johnny Depp and wanted to do a new Pirates movie with a female lead. But as the years progressed, they learned like a lot of things he'd been accused of wasn't really his fault. So they wanted to get their foot out there doing something different. So just in case he did fall or he was really that nefarious in his actions, they have an RA scapegoat. But now we get to see what that looks like. So with the best thing possible, we might get this spinoff, and then when they get back in cool with Johnny, we could have Johnny back as Jack Sparrow in the next official Pirates movie.
And on the update, it shouldn't be that far because it's been found out Amanda Heard's been bullshit lying a lot on this nigga JD.
And he was doing other things like he had like animals in Australia he shouldn't have been having, like his alcoholism became an issue, his money situation. He was selling a lot of his own personal properties off to pay off these debts that he had. So that all being a combination and him being a little difficult at times to rein in already had Disney in a way to feel like, all right, we might really have to look into moving on past Johnny.
But just to give y'all a heads up, them dog shits wasn't his fault as well. Amber wanted them dogs with him in Australia, so he had succumbed to that and took the blame for it. But as we learned, she out here was lying on the nigga's name and talking about this nigga being abusive. Also, as of maybe 2 weeks ago, her lawyers stopped defending for her. But also in wrestling news, Tessa Blanchard has been released from Impact Wrestling, and yes, she is the current Impact champion, so that means she also had to relink the title. That means also that their Slammiversary, aka their WrestleMania main event, has to be rechanged, and WWE is looking to re-sign her. But some people say that it would be better for her to go to AEW because of the controversy that she has around her name and the fact that her dad, Tony Blanchard, is with him. It'll be more safe for her to do that and have somebody more spiritual for her. Part of the reason why she got let go is because she lives in Mexico with her current fiance, Drago, and, you know, with this COVID, we don't know if they're going to let people come in there and out. So she was just precautious, and she didn't want to send in any of those videos that are doing any requests that Impact wanted to try to get her into the keep her in on the storyline. So they just like, you know what, terminate contract, send us the belt back.
And yeah, because COVID has been, causing issue in the sports world in general as it is. And with that being the case, it'd be interesting to see how Cam Newton being signed to the Patriots actually plays out if the NFL even has this season this year, which also goes into a lot of other people's money. Because now, like for example, Cam, you get signed for like 7.1 mil or 1.7 mil for 1 year. You might not even have to touch a football field. It must be nice out there to be an athlete.
And Erin, quick question: how much do you know about Shane Dawson or Jeffree Star?
Oh, Jeffree Star. I love watching his YouTube.
He's the worst.
Well,
oh my gosh.
Just to give you the heads
Wait,
up.
Shane is his ex-boyfriend.
No,
right?
Shane Dawson isn't his ex-boyfriend. Shane Dawson just Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star did a collab together where they did a makeup. But do you know about James Charles and the situation he had last year?
Yes, with the feud with Tati.
Well, it's been came and maybe theorized that regardless of the fact, Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star knew that she was gonna do this video. do the Bye Sister video. Kind of encouraged her to do it.
Okay.
And Jeffree Star, not knowing any evidence, but until like actually today, he did actually have proof of James Charles being a predator. But the thing is, the person that actually was assaulted by him doesn't want to come out, nor doesn't want it to come out. But he has the video recordings shown to some other YouTubers. But past all that, Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star has been found that they were the ones that really wanted to be, that were the forefronts of the downfall for James Charles. And Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star is currently being canceled for it.
Can I just throw in, I went down this rabbit hole last weekend.
Oh, it's a beautiful rabbit hole,
And there's
ain't
a
it?
lot of people with a lot of proof that Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star have been doing this for a while.
Oh, no, it's not that it's a lot of proof. There is
Yeah.
proof. Literally. So much proof that literally, I'm going to have to say, fuck you, Shane Dawson, for using your fucking depression as a scapegoat.
Because he just blamed it
Because you
all.
just literally, you literally made a bullshit excuse saying that James Charles needed a slice of humble pie the size of the Empire State Building.
But there were also people that came forward that said Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star were not only facilitating it,
They were
They took part
orchestrating
of
it,
it.
and they took part of it. Literally, I'm be honest, I do listen to drama channels on my YouTube. Ashley Kyle is one of the channels, as well as Barry
and
Sanders.
I loved Shane Dawson's conspiracy videos, so this was like,
Oh,
what the
and you know what's
fuck?
even more sad? Shane Dawson wanted to blame drama on the beauty community, only for the beauty community to be like, bro, you did 4 drama conspiracy jump offs before you even decided to dabble in the beauty community. Don't blame us for this drama. And also, we came to find out when he did do the start, when he dropped the trailer for the Jeffree Stars and him doing the conspiracy jump off, when he used the Tati and James Charles drama, he literally asked James Charles about it, and James Charles told him, please don't put that in the trailer. Me and Tati just got over this.
Well,
And
what seems to be
Shane
coming
Dawson
out-
said, all right, whatever, I'm gonna still do it, and still did it.
Because that's the thing. They figured if they had a scapegoat in this person, then no one would look at them. But they
And
were a big part of it.
Word, because the moral of the story is, if you go down a rabbit hole, you're gonna find some dirt.
Oh,
and
and-
eventually, if you go down through any TV show from the last couple of decades, or since TV's been institutionalized, you're gonna find aspects from that time that doesn't hold up to this day. And a lot of that has been coming up in the frame of blackface right now, because a lot of TV shows are going back through their catalog and snatching down those episodes. Some episodes I feel like are warranted, but then you have episodes with just like stretching. In particular, I'm referring to Community Season 2, Episode 14, was pulled from Netflix and Hulu. It's called Advanced D&D because the
one
character,
of the best episodes ever.
Yes, because the character Chain, played by Ken John, was playing a dark elf in black paint, like literally black paint, because dark elves, if you're in the fantasy realm, are literally black. But the NBC went ahead and these networks went ahead and was like, let's get ahead of this and pull it down before we have people react, instead of just waiting to see how people feel about it. Because if you know what the show is about in its context, you know there was absolutely nothing wrong
Racist
with
about that
imagery.
scene, as well as they have more racist jokes outside of just that episode that should be probably maybe more taken down. On another note, too, of an episode that shouldn't have been taken down, there's an episode of Golden Girls that's been taken down because
The Don Cheadle episode.
no, it's the marriage episode where the interracial and the parents didn't really want that to happen, but 2 of the characters went and did a mud facing, and the black parents came in right while they had the mud on their face, and they said, no, this is mud, we're not doing blackface. And just because of the fact that they said we're not doing blackface is the reason why it got taken off.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Of course.
Go ahead.
Shoot.
So, what happens with people like Ted Danson, who was dating Whoopi Goldberg at the time, and did blackface at her birthday
Roast.
celebration, her birthday roast?
Oh, it's not you can
But
do about that.
Are you going to cancel him because of that?
No, because
Even though
that
she was like saying it was funny at the time, and now says it wasn't?
did Whoopi say it wasn't? Because if Whoopi didn't say it wasn't, then I would respect it. But I don't think Whoopi said it wasn't yet. Unless
she did later on say that, looking back on it, it was tone deaf. But I wouldn't want someone like Ted Danson who.
But did she say that she needed to be canceled though? Because the thing is, if Whoopi,
that's just what society's doing.
And that's
the thing. It's society themselves that are self-canceling, not the people that are saying, "Hey, we're offended by this." Right. Because as you can tell, Whoopi wasn't offended. She just realized, "Hey, I understand why people are offended by this, but I didn't see it offensive, and I was dating this man at this time."
They were dating at the time, and it was like. She thought it was fucking hilarious. He was doing a satire on what was, and
exactly and the same thing they tried to do with Howard Stern. Like, he was a shock jock, and we all know it was offensive for a reason. It's just like in that context, looking back, that wasn't the best thing. But you can't sit here and judge an individual for a joke at the same time, because cancel culture is not even a real thing. It's a fancy word, because you can't cancel anybody, because human beings aren't Netflix. Human beings aren't subscriptions. Human beings are people, they're energy. And thing about cancel culture as well, if you really pay attention, it doesn't mean anything. Because from a week from now, no one cares. And 2 months from now, it's going to be something else we're collectively upset about. And also, people have the right to evolve and to earn back your respect. Because they tried to cancel Kanye. He's back in people's good graces. There's mad people that have been canceled, but guess what? They're doing fine. They try to cancel Kevin Hart for that old-ass joke. They try to cancel Ellen for being how she was. But it's like,
But the thing with Shane Dawson, I think he might actually be canceled because the pure fact is he's went through 2 apologies and still hasn't even truly apologized about his pedo jokes behind.
Sexy.
He masturbated to a 11-year-old Disney Channel picture of Willow Smith as his intro, saying, "Whip your hair back and forth." And until people pointed that out, he was still getting monetized money from YouTube from all his pedo talks in his podcast videos where he did pedo talk as well.
Because money talks, and when it stops talking, that's when they stop listening. But talking about something that's not canceled, The Boys Season 2 is coming September 4th to Amazon Prime. Erin, are you familiar with that TV series?
No, enlighten me, please.
It's a TV series based on a comic book, basically describing superheroes in the real world context. Not like what Marvel did with their Avengers movie, but like if superheroes existed in the world today as we see it.
In 2020?
Yes, and we paid them for being superheroes. Them to be
superheroes. Like, they're licensed, their own property, and it's gross, it's misogynistic, it's rapey, sexist, it's violent, and it's all about the book. So
not for children.
Oh, no, definitely not for children. No, definitely not for children. Well, I was spoiling anything, so if you are interested in that, have Amazon Prime, you definitely have to check it out.
And
I think
are there any girl heroes?
Oh, yeah, there's a girl
hero.
And she has to do questionable things because it very relates to like the women experience in the workplace from how it's been described already in television, and just hearing women's stories, especially in this like Me Too era, it gives a lot of more context. And once you put it into a superhero world, then you be like, oh shit, because in this world, they're not just superheroes, it's also their job, their enterprise, their likenesses, everything is marketed.
And also another show that's coming out from Amazon Prime on July 3rd, Hannah, which I highly recommend anybody that has Amazon Prime or anybody that was a fan of the 2011 movie Hannah. I recommend y'all watch the first season and be excited for the second season. Yes, you may at first think that it's going to be a carbon copy, but no. They keep the main structure part of it, but there's so much different that they added into this. Like, be honest, yes, as us growing up, when we first watched the movie, we thought just Hannah was just out here super smart and able to whoop all these older niggas' ass. In this TV series version, they give a deeper explanation of why she was so capable of like that in the movie, as well as they give a whole background for Eric, the dude that raised her, and Miranda has a better background story behind it. To me, it's literally the complete version of what a TV rendition / remake would be like for a good ass movie.
Word. And movies aren't really that complete without a soundtrack.
Oh yeah,
because you can't have the movie without the music. Then it's just people talking. And if you guys are new to the podcast, we have an official playlist on Spotify, YWDCA, where we always update it monthly with the music that we're currently listening to. Over the weekend, I actually listened to John Legend's new album.
That joint slap, right?
It was alright. It was chill. It wasn't bad, but it was also like some songs were hit and miss. But overall, it was a nice Sunday afternoon vibe. Some tracks are made,
It still don't beat the debut album?
Oh, nah, because that one was a classic.
That's just a masterpiece. I don't care what anybody tell me. Y'all fight me.
Word. And then I also listened to Jessie's Ware new album. She has like an 80s style to her. So if you like that kind of mid-tone type feel, you should definitely check out her album. And if you want to hear songs for her or John Legend off their latest album, definitely listen to the playlist. Erin, what new music have you been listening to?
New music.
Or any songs you like. They don't have to be new, but what you been listening to?
Just real chill music, like reggae, kind of rock, kind of. There's Magic City Hippies, G-Love. G-Love's kind of old.
Yeah.
What else? I don't know. We were on a boat yesterday, and we were just really
fancy.
Chilling. Just chilling.
That 1%er life.
Yeah, nothing too serious. My husband has been freaking screwing up my Spotify. He was in this mood, and we share Spotify, but not anymore. And he had like this freaking depressing ass jazz electronic music, and it just destroyed my Spotify.
Did you ask him why?
Ask Mike about them.
David.
David, my fault. I showed this.
Did you ask him why he was in this mood, or is this his new choice?
Because he was sad that he was away from home and he had to study and do all this stuff. So.
Fuck that, stop listening to my Spotify.
He has screwed up my Spotify so bad. I'm trying to recover from it, but my daily mixes are full of depressing, down-tempo, jazz, electronic music. That all sounds just the same to me.
Well, my advice to you is you should just create your own playlist with the songs that you like. So
yeah, but Spotify does. I have my own playlist too, but Spotify makes like a daily mix for you, and I use those a lot.
Not just one, but like 18 daily mixes.
No, there's 6 of them, and I do one for each of the week, and my Fridays are all fucked.
It sounds like you just being lazy.
All
you
I
don't
can
want to
say
put in
is
the
my-
work.
Okay, well now he has his own Spotify, and he can listen to his crappy Dave Matthews Band.
Yo, DMV.
No-key DMB isn't that great to me, but I will say
slaps.
my daily mix.
God.
My daily mix 6 is full of sad bullshit, but it's good sad bullshit.
Word. Yes. That is a perfect segue into the topic of we geeking out.
Geeking.
Where we would be talking about the show Euphoria. Because this show is a musical, drug-induced, teenage, angsty, musical roller coaster. And it is fucking amazing.
It's addicting. I was so addicted. I could not
Dick is
stop
the
watching. There's also
word.
that in it too, which made it much different than other shows. Like
Exactly.
it's not very often that you see full frontal male nudity.
Exactly. Exactly.
Damn, yeah, because I can't even recall the last time I saw for.
Like, you really don't.
It's
outside
like the
Spartacus.
80s. Outside the 80s. Yeah, outside Spartacus, it's the 80s that had it.
Yeah, it was a show, stars, I believe, several years back. It's about Spartacus. It's like Gladiator meets fucking, even pre-Game of Thrones style.
They use UFC fighting techniques into the fighting scene. So, like, there's a lot of Superman punches.
Yeah, a lot of that shit. So, Erin, what made you decide to check out Euphoria?
I love HBO. Like HBO puts out some really good stuff, and even if the preview doesn't look that good to me, usually I'm sucked up within 2 or 3 episodes. So I have no problem trying a new HBO show. But I think the preview, Zendaya is in it.
Zendaya is her name.
She has the most amazing eyebrows, by the way.
Y'all do got kind of same eyebrows.
No, she's like, she's the goal. For sure.
She the goal?
She's
Okay.
the goal.
The
She
eyebrows
has
goes?
nice
Okay.
eyebrows. Anyways, the preview looked really good. I like teenage stuff, I'm fond of my teenage years. I was a bad rebel kid, and I can
Not as rebel as this
relate
show, though.
to some of it. I think really after the first episode, I was sucked in. I probably finished it within a week, which is pretty quick for me.
Exactly, and it was
really
the
quick
benefit of that too is only 8 episodes. So
Oh yeah, it's
if you ain't got shit to do
quick watch.
one day,
It's
you
a
can knock
great
it out
binge.
and all in one day. Yeah, Euphoria is one of the things, like, I just, you see advertised for it, like you said, Zendaya. I was like, all right, cool. Zendaya's on the TV show on HBO. I like the soundtrack and how the trailer was presented to it, so I was like, yo, let me check it out.
Yeah, but I've been following Zendaya since Shake It Up, her very first real big break show with her and Bella Thorne. So I'm literally a Bella Thorne Zendaya fan because they did some good acting there. But yeah, Euphoria is probably maybe I would say her best masterpiece of artwork that she did acting wise.
Yeah, because she shows so much range in this series because this is fascinating. Like, Euphoria is a feeling or state of immense excitement or happiness, but you can't have that without the darkness. Mm-hmm. And the show is very dark in its context because it's not like typically like when we were coming up, we had like Saved by the Bell, the Degrassi, California Dreams, the OC, One Tree Hill. Like, yes, they got serious sometimes, but it was nothing really as dark and realistic as this show, and that's something that you could only get on the HBO because you can do almost literally whatever you want to do. So, Erin, describe Rue'd to us, Zendaya's character, the main character of the show. Like, what do you think about her?
She's super chill. She's like she's not too girly. She's not very girly. I think there's like scenes where she's like laughing and crying at the same time. Like, that's how you see all of Zendaya's like acting chops. She's really, really good. Yes. I'd say she's like a cool chick, and most people like her. I know that the beginning of the season, everyone's like, "Aren't you the girl that died? Aren't you the girl that overdosed?" So she's gotta like work her way out of that reputation in the show. So that's really interesting, and I think eventually she kind of gets in with a clique, like a group of girls, and moves past the girl that overdosed.
Exactly. Like, she's trying to get out of that reputation because that's what high school is about. It's not who you are, it's what they think you are. And she was known as a girl that died, and people were like, oh, I thought you died. Like, that was like 3 months ago. Like, well, we ain't seen you in a long time. She's driving down, like, people driving down the street like, oh shit, you alive. She had to hear like shit like that constantly. And one thing too about Rue'd,
been there.
Word. And the one thing about Rue'd too is like they let us know like she's never been normal. Even, like, as soon as she was born, the doctors basically already had her on medication, so she was never chemically balanced. So how can she ever be balanced if she was always abnormal? So she gets addicted to drugs, always trying to find her euphoria, her happiness, but it's hard to do because you're up, you down, this thing does this to you, your family comes in play, boys, women in your life, how you feel about yourself. So it's just fascinating, that side of the show, because it makes me think about how many kids are in this predicament, because when we were younger, we weren't getting pumped full of drugs. Yes, they prescribed things here and there, but now it's like, that's, instead of getting whooped with a belt or a switch, I'm just going to give you drugs to sedate you. So how can you really know what it feels like to be happy if you never had happiness in yourself naturally? So that's one of the things about Rue'd. It makes it so, make her dynamic in the show so interesting with all these other characters, because they're still going through high school shit, but her shit is just different. And then Rue's best friend on the show ends up being a girl named Jules.
Well, Ross. First it's Lexi.
Yes, first it's Lexi. Technically, yes, Lexi, but Jules come in as that new shining piece of gold in her, what could I say, her jackpot at the end of the rainbow. So what about Jules that makes her a perfect fit for a Rue'd, Ross?
The things that make Jules a perfect fit for Rue'd is when you come to realize, like, oh, Rue'd has like a certain type of personality disorder, and so does Jules. But the thing is, the fact that their personality disorders are too different, but somehow Jules' personality makes Rue'd a little bit more open and more happy and not needing drugs, compared to, like, not to spoil, but when you get later on in the show, when you realize, like, when Lexi ends up exposing, like, the whole, like, yo, Jules, you being around Rue'd is making her happy. Then when Jules finds that out, it's just like, oh, I didn't know I was like this. I don't want to be like this. And it ends up becoming a toxic thing for Jules, which ends up becoming a toxic thing for Rue. And that whole relationship's just on a whole other trip. But yeah, Jules is just a girl who found out at a young age she had a depression problem. Her mom sent her into a psych ward.
Unbeknownst to her
until the end of the trip. And she had to go through that. But yet her safe space, or her safe person who happened to be her dad, who basically ends up, her mom, they never specified if her mom passed or did
No, her mom just left him.
Yeah, her mom just
We
left.
should also mention that Jules is a transgender.
Yeah,
so she's starting out fresh in this new high school. So her mom sent her to the psychiatric ward to cure her of her transgender.
Well, it was a combination of that, and also she would focus so much on a thought that she would actually stop breathing, and then she would like freak out. She would pass out, and that being a part of it. Also, she was going through a transition of not wanting to be a boy anymore. She wanted to become a woman, and her mom mostly didn't really understand that. So they took her to a psychiatric facility, more like, let's see what it is. And Jules like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna check it out, see what it's about, not knowing they was leaving her there. And that was like one of the most emotional scenes of the show too, because I can imagine being a kid and you just at some weird hospital. You're like, all right, it's cool. And then like, no, you're not leaving. You're here now because your parents think something is wrong with you.
She had to witness a dude masturbate, yelling at the person that's taking her on a trip. And then she runs into that dude again while on that tour. And then then when she tells the doctor, I want to leave, and the doctor's just like, you're not leaving. And then she realizes it and sees her mom and literally goes to beg for her mom to let her out. And her mom's just like, nah.
No, because then she like starts doing self-mutilation. Like we get the beginning of that. And then fast forward to her being at a party, cutting herself to get this dude, Nate, out of her face.
Oh,
and Nate is literally like an American Psycho. Like he's this white,
he's the ultimate slave,
alpha male, anger issues. He struggles with his sexuality to a degree because you find out that his dad fucks young boys, girls, sometimes transgenders, and actually Jules is one of those people, and his dad records it. And as a kid, he found these tapes and he watched them, so they already put something in his mind about the correlation between sex, dominance, and sexuality. And he takes out these frustrations on other people and within himself eternally. And then it also makes him feel a type of way about being a football player and having to see dicks all the time when you're in the locker room, because you see dicks and it makes you think about your father fucking boys and women for years. So he has all of that going through with him. Like, I'm not gonna get into all the Nate shit because he has a whole nother story arc.
I would call him the villain.
Yes, if
I'd
he was a
say
villain.
the villain. He freaking abused Maddie.
Yes.
He blackmailed Jules.
Yes.
And he called the cops on Fez.
And Tyler.
And he blackmailed Tyler into confessing to a crime that he didn't do, let alone the worst person of said crime that he was like, yo, if you don't confess to this crime, you're going to get in trouble for this other crime, which wasn't a crime because Maddie consented to it. First episode, Nate has a semi-spoiler alert, Nate has a long life partner named Maddie who on again, off again, they just do shit to make each other jealous. So
it's a toxic boyfriend-girlfriend relationship like we see in adults, not just alone teenagers as well.
And Maddie ended up deciding to fuck this dude at coming back to school in the summer party, not knowing that he was 22, all up in the swimming pool just to make Nate jealous, only for her to be like, nah, I was blacked out. I don't remember anything. But she remembered everything.
Yes, and Maddie has an interesting point of view with her life because she's Hispanic and she always seen her mother like being a nail technician, like being on her knees, scrubbing these white women feet. Well, not just white women, but, you know, other women, other people. She was being subservient.
People of upper class.
As she was doing this. Not necessarily upper class. You don't need money to get your shit done.
True.
But it was like one of those things. She seen her mother always in this position. And she was like, I never want to be like that. While her father just sat at the crib and really had to do anything.
Drink and
so
sleep.
she learned as a woman, if she was pretty and if she was popular, she could use men to get what she want without having to do any of it. And she had that power. And she used that power of manipulation to get her way, to feel loved by Nate, and to be like the it couple of the school, even though she didn't always like how he spoke to her or how he handled her physically, but she loved him because no other man could give her that satisfaction and that protection the way Nate did, because she knew, like, if something did happen to her, he would kill somebody. Like, because Nate also feared her being kidnapped, her being raped, or any dude doing anything to her, because a lot of men are gross. Big surprise. And that's another look into the life of women that I don't think most men realize. Like that fear of being abducted, because it's like a scene in the movie, like she's just walking and a dude watching her whole time, he just run up on her, snatch her, put her in the trunk, boom, she gone. And the sad reality is that happens all the time. That's literally happening to somebody right now, and that's fucked up. So that's another fear that people have to deal with that you might not associate with yourself because you're not a woman. Just like the black experience, not to get on that real quick, you may not have to worry about being chased down by a group of dudes in a car because you're a different color skin, and you can end up being killed because of that. That's a idea, that's a threat that's always present in a lot of people, African Americans' mind, because we know that shit still transpires to this day. So that just makes that shit even realer, because not too many shows tackle that issue or that subject matter in such a realistic way. And Maddie, she also has a friend by the name of Cassie. Cassie is a cute girl. If this was the 90s, they might have referred to her as a bimbo or like an airhead. Like, she developed at a young age, and it's one of those things, like conversations I've had with a lot of my female friends, because I also compare it to like the black experience. Like, there's one day when you realize when you're black that you're gonna be treated differently because of your skin, and like there's always that one day as a young lady that you realize, like, oh, I'm a woman, so I'm gonna be treated differently for the most part because I'm a woman. And Cassie kind of has that issue go up when she, you know, develops, and her uncles start grabbing her a little tighter, move their hands and things of that nature. And then she had to, while going through puberty, she also had to deal with her father, who ends up being a fucking addict, and her mother's divorce. And then her whole story is like, she has her daddy issues, and now she does these things that get boys' attentions. And then you have to find out that, oh, the boy that she's been playing the whole time because she has a boyfriend basically tells her, like, yo, if anybody say they actually want to get to know you and love you, you're full of shit. You ain't got nothing in between your ears. You're not interesting. You're dumb. They just want you for your body. And she has to hear that and move forward in her life, but at the same time realizing, oh shit, somewhere there's some truth in that shit. What do I now do with myself after this situation? Mm-hmm. What do you think about Cassie and her journey through season 1, Erin?
I think Cassie has definitely had like a few wild years. She's been a wild teenager. She had the daddy situation. She's been on a lot of sexcapades. And I think at the beginning of the season, didn't some of her pictures leak online,
yes,
like her naked pictures?
And videos of her having sex with men.
And that's what makes it a little bit different than when I was in high school. Like, that was just starting to come out. Like, the text message pictures was like a new thing, and social media was MySpace.
Yes.
So it's nowhere near as terrible as it is today. So that's kind of like a look into today's teenagers, what they have to deal with every day.
But you also got to remember that those videos that were came out was when she was fucking with McKay, and that was college. So those college dudes that was doing that.
No, she had
but she did have
videos.
But she
McKay
did have previous videos beforehand when they did go into her backstory, where if like the first dude that she gave a blowjob to, that he recorded.
Mm-hmm. And she didn't know.
Exactly. And it's like one of those things too, they bring up that angle or that perspective, because it reminds me like when Bella Thorne's came out, and because I watched The View and they talked about that too, and they were quick to be like, just don't do it, girl. But then in Euphoria, it's like, well, that's easy for you to say because you're not growing up in this generation where it is normal. Right. Like, this is a part of life. Like, news is the new profile picture, more or less. So I get what you're saying, but at the same, you got to know that is this day and age. Like, we can't control that to a degree because this is how we socialize with each other now. They're like, locate your own personal baseball cards, and you have to trust an individual with those if you want to get some type of relationship, if you're in a certain demographic.
Yes.
Just to throw in from a sideline, I know too many people, men and women, who, when giving blowjobs or head or whatever, they don't know they're being filmed.
Yes,
and when that comes back around,
exactly.
But the helplessness that they feel is pretty big.
Yeah.
The thing with Cassie is she knew she was being recorded with it.
Like, I think she's doing it for attention.
But she did it. She did it for attention / love because she just wanted to show up. She fell for all her dudes quick, except for on a good note, McKay was the one that didn't really want her to be like that. Like, he always wanted to uplift her and treat her like the special chick that he did, and the chick that he cared for, and how he didn't want that to happen.
Yeah, and interesting too about McKay is like a scenario that you don't see a lot, because McKay's a nice dude. He was the oldest of the main cast. Well, for
outside of Fez.
Yeah, outside of Fez, story-wise, because he actually was the only one in college right now. But he was a nice guy, and it's like, yo, I'm a nice guy that just happened to like a girl that some might call a slut or might be fast or loose, but she's still a person, and I like her. And of course, his boys gave her shit about that, showed him feel like, oh, you really like her, look what she doing, yada, yada, yada. So that kind of plays into his psyche, but he also tried to respect her, treat her right. Woman. But then again, his own pride and vanity came in that, because he was starting to be like, yo, you shouldn't dress like this because I won't hear the end of it. You really want this type of attention. X, Y, and Z. But then also it makes McKay's story more fascinating because you don't hear this a lot, especially being like a black male. Like, he was an athlete. He was going to college. His father pressured him since a kid. Like, you want to go to football, you want to play football, go to college, go to the pro, do all that shit. But he gets to college. He's not getting any time. People keep telling him it's because you're not working hard enough. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. But then McKay's like, no, I was the shit in my high school. This is college. Everybody's good. And also, I'm undersized. I'm underweight. There's no way I'm going to make it to pro. Because he just did the fucking numbers. He did the math. And it's like, oh, shit, I'm not going to make it. Then he went to his dad like, Pops, I did the numbers. I've been thinking about it. I don't know if I'm going to make it. What should I do? What should be my next move? Tell me what to do. And what his dad tell him? Just try harder. Like, bro, I literally know I'm not going to do this, but your dreams are so put on me, like you're trying to live vicariously through me and my accomplishments, but you're not seeing the reality. And that shit sucks, because that happens, well, not just with black kids, it happens with athletes all over the world. Like, you get trained your whole life to go to this next level, but then that comes that day of realization, like, oh, this shit ain't gonna happen. What do I do now once I realize my dream is kaput, more or less? So I need to be figuring out right now where to make my next move. And hopefully, whatever they do decide to do with him next season is very intriguing and do more with this character and show a different aspect of that.
I don't know. Are we allowed to talk about spoilers?
Yes.
Oh,
well,
we talk about spoilers.
Well,
I don't think McKay's coming back. I think that she got the abortion. Cassie got the abortion.
Yes.
And she mentioned something like, "Oh, this is the first time I haven't been in love."
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like a new chapter for her. But I think McKay is going to be out of the picture next season, personally.
I can see that happening too. And like we were talking about earlier, like how certain people, whether you're male or female, like you might not know that you're being recorded while having sex with somebody. Something that happened to a character named Kat. Kat is a bigger girl, and Kat's probably like low-key my favorite main character out there, because she took the power of being a bigger woman and realized the power in her sexuality and what it have over men. It's like, men are just all dribble. They're just animals. They're pathetic. You touch them the right way, they lose their shit. They'll do anything to get a little bit of pleasure. And once she realized that, she had a new swag, a new attitude. She was a virgin at the beginning, but then she had sex. Her shit leaked, and she flipped it on the principal because she was like, "Isn't this you?" And she was like, "Nah, why? Because I'm a big girl, and that's a big girl. That's fucked up." He's like, "Oh, no, I just said." So she had a new swag, and also it also made me realize how much money you can make off the internet by not fucking people on Pornhub. Because she has a whole foot fetish site where she just show her feet, she get money. Her mom talking to her from across the road, she's just putting up pictures of her feet. And one thing too about this show is like, it's no shock. I'm a man. I watch porno. I see penises on a daily, but not as many penises.
See at least one penis a day.
Yes.
Yeah, but I did not know that perfection. I will honestly say, yes, I call dick pics Anthony Weiner's are political pics, but I did not know there was such good etiquette for dick pics. All I thought was, if you really want to prove your size, get an object, do a comparison view to it. I did not know that. I did not know it was about the angle, the lighting, the upkeep. I'm just like,
say that I got a 9 out of 10 rating on my shit, and that should show you that it's all about angles and lighting.
No, but
any woman can tell you it's all about angles and lighting. Too. We take selfies all the time.
Any woman can, but as a male though, I knew by a certain time right before I quit sending out dick pics or political pics, grab a remote control, grab an air can, something to compare girth and width with it.
And it's one of those things too on the show. Like, if you didn't need to know about the proper
some females are just girth
protocol,
people. Some females are with people.
Like I was saying,
not angles.
This show gives you the proper dick pic
etiquette
protocol, and I didn't even know that shit existed. I didn't need to know, because like I tell all women, if you want to see me, you're going to see me, all of me in person. I don't do that shit. It's just not how I roll. I don't got time to send you photos when you need to see the real thing in person, baby. So it's just like weird watching, just getting a tutorial about penises in the middle of this high school show, and you just sitting there like, I'm not trying to take mental notes, but I'm taking mental notes.
That's what makes the show
shit.
so good, is because like it goes from being hilarious to being so dark. It's almost like a dark comedy in a way.
Exactly.
And that's what makes it addicting too.
Exactly. Like any episode, you get every emotional spectrum. Like even when you come to find out that Kat became internet famous because she was wearing One Direction erotic fanfic, and it blew up, and it goes into a straight up anime retelling of her story, then to the point you almost like, damn, I kind of want to read some of her writing. Like, yo, she out here. And it also goes back into the real world when she's like, if I had my fans storm the school, they would. But the people in my school don't give a fuck about who I am, because I'm just some fat girl in this school. But online, I am the shit. And then it goes into the sad story about how she gained all this weight, and the little boy that she was dating used to hold her hand. Then she had all these virgin pina coladas over this summer vacation, and she came back overweight, and then he didn't want to fuck with her no more, and that shit was just sad.
And it wasn't even just the fact that he didn't even want to fuck with her. After he actually fucked her in high school, she told him like, yo, we dated for like 6 months in middle, like 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. And he's like, oh, I don't recall. And she just had to sit there in her own sorrows like, damn, the dude I really had a crush on and that I dated before, don't even remember that we dated.
And go ahead, Erin.
That guy messed her up so bad that like she has 2 alter egos. She's got her cam girl life, and then she's got school life where she's like the fat girl. And then this guy likes her, Ethan, and she doesn't even realize he likes her. Like she just like, it's not possible somebody that knows her for her and goes to school with her in her real life even wants anything to do with her, give her the time of day. And that's what I like it. That's what I thought one of the highlights in the season finale was when Ethan and her were at the dance and she kissed him.
I'm gonna be honest, low-key, Ethan and Lacey are my favorite B-side characters in that show, and I hope that in this next season they get more shine, because it's just a pure fact, like,
especially Lexi too,
my one thing that made me like Lexi was like, Lexi went all 7 episodes being the good girl, always legit, making it seem like she was a straight edge out the group. And then all of a sudden, junior prom comes. Oh, let me drink this Everclear with Gatorade that Maddie just handed me. And now she's just like, I might want to lose my virginity. This, that, and the third. I might tell the person that I really care, that I really have feelings for, that I really like.
So one of your favorite parts about the season finale was the part where they kissed and hooked up. And speaking of the season finale, I'm going to ask both of you guys, what would you like to see transpire in season 2? And which character or characters would you like to see more of?
So I would like to see Jules come back. I think that was a major cliffhanger. I think she's a really big character, so I would imagine that she's coming back, but I definitely hope that she comes back.
Word. And any story arcs, like anything you want to see from a character that you didn't really get a lot of in this season? Lexi.
I want them to elaborate more on Lexi.
Me too. Like, I definitely want to see Lexi's
her story.
Yes. To see her perspective from all this shit, being the little sister. Mm-hmm. And see how having your big sister being the attractive one going through all this, how would that make you feel? What about you, Ross?
I honestly think that what I would like to see is during their senior year, Lexi ends up getting her glow up because of her confidence due to the last episode. Because I'm not going to lie, just the pure fact of seeing her in episode 8, she gets drunk for the very first time, not drinking the whole season. And then she just like has a whole coming to life moment for herself. And I'm not gonna lie, I low-key kind of relate to Lexi. Yeah, I sometimes be sheltered, and then like she just has that one like moment where it's like, fuck it, I'm gonna just say what I want to say. And also just like, I observe the world so much that it's just like, why be the sideline? I want to be a part of it, which makes Lexi even more like one of my favorite characters in the show. But I would like to see like how Lexi, I want to see if either Lexi's truly coming out and she's going to express her feelings to Ro, because I really think that she has secret feelings for Ro. And that starts this whole love triangle with maybe, I would like to see a love triangle between Rue'd, Jules, and Lexi, but I think if anything, I think Lexi's just going to really confess. I really would hope Lexi confesses her true feelings for Rue'd. It's her and Rue'd starting this relationship, and then Jules pops out of nowhere, and Rue's just like stuck in a situation that she doesn't know what she wants, as well as to see Cassie and Maddie's whole personality change. Outside of just like Lexi getting her glow up, I would like to see Kat like, due to the fact that she reverted back to like her pure self, even though it's still not truly pure, it's just like she's more honest compared to just like women control the world. And I would like to see how her and Ethan's relationship blossomed from her revelation, and like if her and Ethan actually be a more long-term thing. Because I'm not gonna lie, Ethan, new kid that comes into town a few weeks after Jules, he's always like Kat. And Kat, due to her insecurities at the best episode, the carnival episode, and it's just like she gets into her feelings. Maddie and Cassie got into her whole feelings, and since they were a girl clique, just to see how they reacted to just certain things that they didn't know and didn't feel like asking the other person, so they just reacted to it.
Word. And Erin, you had something else that you want to say before I get into my
I
final piece?
want to know what Maddie saw on the disc that she took from Nate's house. They never said what she saw.
My theory is she saw the video of her
Jules and his dad. That's what I think too, but we don't know for sure.
It could have been any random boy, girl, or it could be somebody else that's young.
But my only theory of why it was Jules and Cal is because of the fact of how much Nate had feelings for Jules without actually really talking, besides pretending to be Tyler when he got all that information from her to blackmail her.
Oh yeah, that's a whole podcast in itself right there.
And then I just have to say one thing.
Go ahead.
I hope that they come back.
Can it be one thing and not a Roscoe one thing?
It's a one thing. It's an Erin one thing. Bomb ass makeup. Oh my god, the makeup in this series is amazing. Like, I
Not
don't
gonna
know
lie.
how these teenage girls have time to apply rhinestones all over their eye
Because they've been watching Jeffree Star's
before
videos.
School, before school.
They've been watching them
Because
Jeffree Star videos
Jeffree Star
before.
videos.
Because where there is time, there is a way. And for me, the most important storyline, all right. For me, what I want to see most story arc wise would be for the two MVPs of the show to me. That would be the boy Fez and the boy Ashtray. I need to see, first off, how they became who they are, their friendship, and what put Fez into the dope gang, and also what his condition is with his grandma in the apartment. Because watching that the whole time, because I call him Lil Matt Miller, because that dude is just, it's crazy how much he just reminds not only me but a lot of people of him, and just to see how he got in that position, because he doesn't necessarily want to do this, but he will do this. And at the same time, his relationship with Jules, I would like to see when that started and evolved to the point, he's like, you're not just somebody I'm serving drugs to.
You're somebody I care about.
Yeah, you're actually like fam. And with that being said, we're going to bring down to that Geeking Out segment of Yo, where the Caption's at. So now we just about to go to Yo, Check It Out, where we just going to give you a quick TV series of movies that you should watch and indulge in if you like Euphoria or want to get into something Euphoria like before you dive right into the pool of this madness of teenage teenage life. So with me, I'm gonna just start off with, it's on Netflix, it was on MTV, it was Euphoria for me before Euphoria. It's called Skins, and not the American adaptation but the British original. It's so realistic, it's so grimy, and this is the first time I started seeing kids portrayed in a realistic way, and also gave me an insight into the British culture and itself. Ross, what about you? What TV series or movie you would recommend?
Recommend? I mean, since you already took Skins, but low-key, I kind of only really want to piggyback off the first season of Skins, because that's the closest thing to a Euphoria moment. But if I had to choose a show, I might have to say, if anything, Degrassi, the next generation after the original cast, so the Drake, Aubrey Graham, for most of y'all people, those series after they graduated and after like Emma and them graduated, so when they after surpassed their college, like when they still had Emma and all of them in the college, you're still messing with Degrassi. The seasons after that, I can't recall if it's season 6 and beyond, but I would say like 2 seasons after those that were in my era that watched Degrassi, 2 years after all of those cast members from Next Generation had left and the college series left, I would recommend those series because of the whole fact, like, that's the first time Degrassi on their part, they introduced a transgender chick, freaking the side B characters from their show from Beyond, when all Drake and Emma and Elena from Vampire Diaries and them were all in there. Those side characters actually got growth and actually had a little bit more current shit that really happened that's more relatable for this generation of kids to understand, compared to just like a gun shooting, which me and Kelsey and all of us grew up with, in teen pregnancy. They have, the youth drunk driving and killing each other and doing all other type of emotional and other shits, as well as speaking on race even more specific. What about you, Erin?
So Euphoria follows a lot of stories, like girls' stories. There are some male characters, but it's mostly girls coming of age, girls going through teenage hormones, all that stuff. So I would recommend another HBO show. I would recommend the show called Girls. They're not teenagers. They're more like
mid-20s.
Yeah.
Early mid-20s, just out of high school or college, just out of college. And there's lots of sex in it. I don't know if we have any full frontal male nudity.
I don't think I've seen Adam Driver's penis in there. I
would love to see more in media.
Yeah, me too. That's what was so refreshing about Euphoria. But Girls, I freaking love Girls. It's not as dark. Hilarious. it's basically, I hate to say, I was explaining this to somebody the other day, a newer version of Sex and the City.
Yeah,
It's like the
it's
same
more of a
exact characters. You can, if you watch it, you can match up which one's the Miranda, which one's the Carrie, which one's the Samantha. So if you liked Sex and the City, Girls is great. If you're a millennial, even an elder millennial like I am, watch Girls.
Word.
Yes.
And there's, how many seasons are there?
There's only like 4.
3
But
or 4, yeah.
I feel like
4.
it's healthy. It's like a good,
it's fine.
healthy
It
amount.
shows a lot of toxic shit too, but
Yeah.
thank you for that, Erin, and also thank you for being on this episode today. We
love you,
enjoyed
girl.
your conversation, your insight, your input, and everything that you bring to every experience that I have in my life. That's why you're here.
Thank you,
you're
Ross.
very welcome. Yeah, guys, so this is going to bring the end to another episode of the most ridiculously random podcast in the 719. Yo, where the captions at? And always, thank you for listening. Spread the word. You know where you can find us. Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. We always doing our thing and trying to have a good time.
You know who best, and if you ain't trying to find me on those places because I'm not always that social, I'm on the box, some here and there, usually on playing a few video games.
Yes, and always, I'm yours truly, Kels for show. And remember, guys, be one or be nothing.
And you know how it is. It's your boy Roscoe Tinkoya. Sometimes you gotta be a heartless, but yet you gotta let your heart show.
Word.